Guess who's back? That's right, 007 has returned. First one in about 2 months after going through all those Vincent Price movies and all the other detours and stops. Gone is Sean Connery for this movie. And then we have a guy named George Lazenby, something like that. He returns for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. How the heck do I feel about this one? Overall, I really liked this movie. I think it's a more humanistic portrayal of James Bond. Yes, he is still the superhero. Yes, he is still has the firearms. He still has the skills in talking. But here it feels like that even though we have what is this? An institute up in Switzerland, I think, or something like that. I forgot where. It's helping people. That supposedly helps people get rid of their allergies, especially when the chickens of all things. It's like, no, it turns out it's Ernst Blofeld who is in control and will unleash a an amazing disease upon the world in this movie. But at the same time, it feels like this one was a more return to form. It felt less Saturday morning cartoonish and more of a Bond style movie, or one that you would see where it's the classic formula archetype played well. The plot is fine. It's alright. It's Bond he has a disagreement with M. And he says, M states, you've been going after Blofeld for 2 years, but you haven't produced any results. So, what does Bond do? He asks for a 2-week leave to go up to the academy, research area, whatever, and to try and research his family history. But, of course, instead of just being like a colleague or an academic trying to research his family tree, he does the things. 1, he sleeps with some of the students. What a surprise. And 2, he gets the area of where his family would be wrong, because he says it's in one area, but then it's somewhere else completely. So he just kind of botches it, and it's like, what a surprise. But that's just part of the charm. This movie feels it is definitely more contained. It's still global. It takes place mainly on a mountain, which surprised me. I'm like, yes, I think that we needed to just have it take place in one area. Just have it be less cartoony and just more sieging an area, I guess would be the phrase to describe it. And the action is great, the story is great, but I did have 1 or 2 problems. It's less more about how the plot structure is or the finale. It's just there were so many quick too many jump cuts. It's like when they're like in the beginning, it was like there were just so many, just the rough style of editing and jump cuts and stuff. It just hurt my eyes, especially during all the combat scenes. I'm like, I don't like this. I just think, I don't know, it just felt pumpy to me. It felt like it was just not, I don't know, it was a different director, or it wasn't that Terrence Hill who directed this, it was someone else. You still have Broccoli and Saltzman who are the producers, or whatever his last name is. And you know what? That's fine. It's always going to be a thrill-a-minute ride, or at least you're going to get some great action scenes. But just so many jump cuts. It's like, I noticed during like 10 seconds, there were at least 3 or 4. And I'm like, why? It's nauseating in a way. It just didn't work out. I did not like that. And of course, it repeats about halfway in. It was just, it just didn't feel right. It just felt less like a Bond movie and just more like I don't know. It just didn't work right. I know that Lazenby during a scene, I think what did he do? He broke his arm because he was trying to be a little bit more arrogant, but ultimately it just maybe that's what contributed to the constant jump cuts and different camera angles and stuff. But I didn't like it. It just ruined it for me. And I will also admit that I didn't like what was going on in the beginning of him traveling. I mean, the kill was funny. But at the same time, we're like, what's going on here? Then I started picturing, oh, they're humanizing him more by actually having him fall in love with a woman rather than just him trying to seduce a bunch of bimbos. So that was interesting to see. Yeah. Of course, the story here was that he's still trying to figure everything out, but same time he really does start falling in love with a woman named Tracy. I forgot her last name, and at first it seems like she's being hot-headed or strong-willed, whatever. Eventually, she does start to fall in love with Bond, and I think it's when they're going down through crawling down a mountain through her car, and they eventually stay inside a bar, and they really do start to feel in bliss. They even get married at the end, and I'm like, I was not expecting this at all. So at first it went from jarring to really freaking great. And yeah, it's freaking fantastic. It feels like it's a good movie, and but at the same time, when it appeared that Bond will return and diamonds are forever, I'm like, okay then, that's felt like a good return to form. And now, of course, everything taking place on the mountain, it feels real. It feels more compact and more like an actual movie. Very specifically, it's like when they're doing this, when the whole team is arriving for the final scene, it's not like that they're getting 60 to go underwater or go inside a gigantic field. It's taking place on just like this giant lodge, I guess you could say, and it somehow works and feels more realistic. I mean, even the part where Bond has, I guess maybe the only unrealistic parts are how they can survive jumping down like 30 feet on skis. I'm like, what? That's another thing I just felt kind of impossible, but I guess I'll be willing to forgive it. Maybe the snow has enough give. I don't know. I've never skied before. Best action scenes are, of course, about roughly an hour and 35 minutes in. Yeah, an hour and 35 minutes in when everyone's just descending the mountain in the skis, and they've got the firearms and everything else, and they're just shooting away. But with just all the constant cameras and just the beautiful mountains, I personally think it was a dang good one. It felt realistic. It wasn't just another over the top action scene. It felt grounded enough for me to enjoy it. And the car chases were really gosh darn cool as well. I cannot deny that. Yeah. And lack of gadgets this time. I was very surprised by that. I'm like, well, that's fine. Whatever. I mean, they did feature some like pocket lint in the beginning in a watch, and Blofeld commanding all the women in there with which acts as a transmitter. I guess that I can see that happening, but it wasn't as usual as it being like Thunderball, for example. So yeah, I personally like this one. It just took me some time to really warm up to it. George Lazenby replaced Sean Connery because Connery wanted $1,250,000. They couldn't reach a deal, so they brought in some guy who claimed that he was an actor, but ultimately said to Saltzman and Broccoli, I'm not really an actor. They said, are you just kidding me? You managed to con two of the biggest bastards in the British film industry. His, I guess, non-Bondish demeanor of like wearing a beard, which was counterculture back in the 1960s, his arrogance, and something about the British tabloids comparing him to Conroy, and low box office Revenue just said, yeah, we don't really like this guy, but he's really the only one the only Bond ever won an Academy Award, Bond actor, to win an Academy Award. That was very surprising to read. So I'm like, hot dang. And after that, what would happen? You know, I don't know much. I mean, I'm sure there's information about him somewhere on Wikipedia. Oh, I'm definitely freaking sure, but yeah, he does a good job as Bond. He felt more human in this one. I liked it. There's also a Louis Armstrong song. That would be the last song that he ever composed, because couple weeks later, he would eventually pass on. So at least one of his songs, at least he's definitely amongst all of his other hits. This one was immortalized in a James Bond film. So, you know. I don't know. So how do I feel about Her Majesty's Secret Service? I think that this is a great return to form. It feels less like a cartoon, a Saturday morning cartoon. I don't like the editing in the beginning and like halfway through. It just jumped around too much, and I guess whatever else it was. I said it takes a little bit to get going, but then you realize that this is more of a personal movie. So yeah, I do recommend that you watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service.